With Sweaty Hero Comic Bargains, and today we're talking about Amazing Fantasy and Spectacular Spider-Man. Amazing Fantasy started in the 60s as Amazing Adventures, became Amazing Adult Fantasy, then became Amazing Fantasy with 15 in the last issue, and then, of course, Amazing Spider-Man had a new number one and started off after that. In the 90s, they did Amazing Fantasy 16, 17, 18 as Untold Tales. Volume 2 of Amazing Fantasy is focused on Arena, which was a new Spider-Girl, not Mayday Parker, and other characters they had for that, and they created some other characters for that Amazing Fantasy anthology title. And this is an Amazing Fantasy mini-series in 2021 that brought in Spider-Man and a bunch of different characters, and this is a variant cover. Night Thrasher, number one, right here. This is cool. $4.99 book, US, which was like six something Canadian, and $1 band. New Warriors was written by Fabian Nicicia, and Mark Bagley did the artwork. I'm a great fan of Mark Bagley, and I was really looking forward to one day. I hope I don't know if they have the New Warriors Epic Collection, but they need them because New Warriors is pretty cool. And this guest stars the Punisher in this storyline, and issues 7 and 9. Punisher Summer Special. This is another anthology of Punisher stories with different writers writing the Punisher. Dark Reign tie-in, The Hood. This is a variant cover of, I guess, a pirate Spider-Man from the Spider-Verse, but it actually is Deadly Hands of Kung Fu. So it's very confusing because you don't even have the title on the thing. I guess it's on the back. That's where I would have to look for it. Heroes for Hire. This one has She-Hulk and Luke Cage in it. New Fantastic Four takes place in the shortly after the New Fantastic Four storyline in the 1990s. We have Grey Hulk, Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Ghost Rider, although I don't know why, but he's very small on this cover, considering that's called New Ghost Rider. I would have put more emphasis on the Ghost Rider than on, Miss Fantastic. Maybe put her in the background, or even Mr. Fantastic. The Prowler is a Clone Conspiracy tie-in. Okay. Here we got a tie-in with Venom War with Spider-Man, and this was a $4.99 book. Another issue of Venom. Issue of Venom during the Blood Hunt crossover. Another issue of Venom. Venom has been a fun read. I've been enjoying reading it when I do. An issue of Venom during Venom War. Doctor Strange got starring. Let's give you a better picture of that. Spider-Verse and Venomverse. That looks more like Cyclops, to be honest to me. Spider-Man 2099, Michael O'Hara. This is one of the more recent miniseries. And this is number 4. Then we have Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. This picks up the legacy numbering with number 36, but it's number 12. And so it's by Tom Taylor. So we have 12, 13, and 14. Adjectiveless Spider-Man most famously was written and drawn by Todd McFarlane for the first year and a half or so. And then he handed it off to Eric Larson. And then after that, they tried to do different creative teams for a while until around the Clone Saga. And right before the Clone Saga, they got Howard Mackie and Tom Lyle to get on board to do the art. John Romita Jr. came on Adjectiveless Spider-Man later. Then he swapped over back to Amazing Spider-Man again. But this Adjectiveless Spider-Man, you can see legacy numbering 164. And because Adjectiveless Spider-Man eventually became, with issue 75, became Peter Parker Spider-Man, because that was the end of the Clone Saga. And then after the end of the Clone Saga, Peter Parker Spider-Man, it had its run until they canceled both Spider-Man books, started with a new number 1. It kept the title Peter Parker Spider-Man. And then many years they haven't had a Peter Parker Spider-Man or an Adjectiveless Spider-Man title. And then finally they brought that back for about a year and a half with Dan Slott and Mark Bagley doing the art. And Mark Bagley did a great job on the art of this book, and he is definitely my favorite Spider-Man artist. And I hope that he gets at least one last hurrah. But he's been around from the 90s, so I understand if he eventually says, enough of Spider-Man. Here's an issue of the Spider-Boy that has been recently created. And this one has Daredevil. And then a Spider-Boy Annual. And then finally, Spectacular Spider-Man was by Greg Weisman. Greg Weisman did the cartoon Spectacular Spider-Man, which was a later Sony Spider-Man cartoon, I watched all the episodes. They were a lot of fun. I did enjoy them. I still prefer, as the best of the best, the Spider-Man cartoon from the 90s. But this has Miles and Peter Parker teaming up in a book for about a year and a half or so. That is your Spectacular Spider-Man and your Amazing Fantasy. Take care.